Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. The following confession that you're going to be listening to, it was translated from isiZulu by one of our dear sister, and it reads like this. Hello, how are you, Brother Nashi? Please hide me and post for me as anonymous. You can call me Zanelem. I am a 29-year-old woman and I do come from KwaZulu Natal. I'm writing my story because I want other people to learn from my mistakes. I lived with a person that I believed to be God sent, and I thought that he was the answers to my mother's prayers. Who always say that I wish for you to have a husband that has money, but in the end, he left my life ruined. It all started, it was in the year 2021. At that time, I was living in KZN with my mother. Life had become so difficult, and I had recently lost a job because the guy that had gotten me hired there, I was tired of his ways. He was working at the same mall and he knew the hiring manager. And then as we were dating, I asked for him to get me a job so that I don't have to bother him at all the time saying that, please give me some money to do ABC and I can be independent and then our love can flourish. This guy then started to take advantage of me because he had gotten me a job. Whenever he would cheat on me, he would threaten me saying that I'm going to get you fired if you say that you do not love me anymore. So I was confused. I did not know what else to do. So I then stopped working. I was just tired, and that is how I got fired. One day, I then decided to relocate from KZN to come and to stay in Soweto, where one of my auntie lives. I figured it would be easy for me to find a job in Gauteng. I wanted to start afresh where no one even knows me. At first, they welcomed me very well. When you are still a visitor, the very first few days, they will welcome you. You won't even do some jobs at home because they'll be like, this one is a visitor. But as time goes on, you will see that the treatment, it starts to change bit by bit, until people end up even hiding food. That is what was happening now. It was terrible, Joe. People hiding food because they do not want you to eat nice food. People eating their food, including my auntie. She would hide a box of cornflakes and she would let her kids eat inside of her bedroom. I did not even mind about not eating cornflakes. I really did not mind at all. Things changed quickly. My auntie was someone who loves to control others. When food was cooked, she would literally tell me that I was not allowed to eat. Sometimes she would leave only leftovers for me, saying that I am too lazy. I do not want to go out there and to look for a job. And other times she would tell people that I was a burden. This was her telling her neighbors. And there are those neighbors, if you tell them something about your relative that you do not like your relative, then those neighbors of yours will end up telling that relative anyway that you are just staying here, but do you know that your relative, they do not like you at all. So when I heard these rumors going around that I was like a parasite and she wanted to give me money so that I can return back to KZN, I would find myself crying and not wanting my mom to know the situation that was on the ground. I was a grown adult, but I was being made to feel as if I was worthless. I looked for many jobs, but I failed to find any. My money was running out. I was just surviving. That is when I started to use Facebook, not like for the first time. I already had Facebook, but I had never used Facebook for the things that I was about to use it for. At first, I was just looking for work, but then I noticed about other groups that talked about money blesses hookups and men who paid women just to sleep with them. I did not like it at first because this was just prostitution. but hunger is very brutal. I remember the day when my auntie went to buy a loaf of bread, and then she told me plainly that the bread that she had bought, she wanted that bread to last for a week. Hey, a house with a lot of people, and then she tells you that she wants this bread to last maybe for a week. She's just telling you not to touch her bread. So then I decided that, it is okay if this woman does not want me at her house, let me just hustle. Already from the moment that I entered into that group, I started to see that there were a lot of men that were coming to me, and these men, they were like trying to take me out, and I would refuse. I said, why not? Let me just go on a hookup with one guy, and then I charge him, and I see how it is going to go. But I was scared because I had never done it in my entire life. So I not proud of what I did, but I had to survive, Brother Nashim. I started to do hookups. Men will come and fetch me, and I would not meet them at my auntie's house. No, I would walk, and when I am in a neighborhood where people do not know me, then I send the location. The guy then picks me up, and then I would go with that man. We sleep for an hour at the lodge or 2 hours. He pays me, and then I pass through town. I buy groceries, and I also send money to help my mother. Months went by. I started to get tired. I'm not someone who is like a prostitute. I don't want to sleep with 5, 6 guys in a single day. I'm not just built like that. I can't do it, even though I tried, but I totally failed to sleep with many guys because I would even feel like I want to vomit looking at all the manhoods that I was exchanging. And I'll be thinking that, so all of these things, they are coming inside of my body, and I have recently been sleeping with another guy. So this would make me want to vomit the things that I was doing. So already I was thinking about leaving this type of a job. I just wanted one guy that I would sleep with. He would pay me. He would know that he has a girlfriend. So then there was this other guy that I met. I was amazed. He was someone that was very nice, and he spoke with me. He never had that bad attitude like other guys had, like, hey, when I want you to send me your naked pictures. This one was different, and I said that this is the work of God. God has finally given me a man that is nice. He started to help me. I moved out, and I started staying still in Soweto, paying my own rent, never going to work. And he said to me, he loved me. He asked me to move in with him. There is the residential estate he lived in. It was very beautiful. I had never thought that I would end up staying in such a nice suburb in my entire life. We were living in a place where it was secure, nice cars, beautiful houses. At first, that life truly felt like a dream. I stopped struggling. I stopped constantly cursing my luck. I thought that I had found the man that I was going to marry, even though he was someone that was from outside of the country. I had never imagined myself with someone from another country, but I had told myself that if this is what God is given to me, let me just enjoy. There are plenty of women already that are married to men that are foreigners. Let me just date this guy, and then we see how things will go in the end. So I was cool dating this guy. I really did not mind. He was someone that was nice to me. He never even beat me up. He was not even cheating on me. And then the things started to surprise me. There were rules in the house that I never understood. They did not allow onions. Yo, guys, your boyfriend, a man that you think is going to become your husband, he does not want onions in his house, garlic, no. If I cooked with either of these items, he would get angry. I still remember the day that he got mad at me. I was afraid that he's going to kill me. West Africans, when they speak, they are very loud. When he started to shout at me, I literally was like crying because I thought that he was going to be violent with me. He had told me not to use onions or garlic. So I had gone out shopping because we would do weekly shopping where we went to buy fruit and veggies. On that day, I just took the car that he had bought for me, a Polo Vivo, and then I went and I bought a lot of fruit and veggies. I just picked onions naturally as well as garlic because I like it. And then I started to cook. He was in a meeting. He was outside. He just came into the kitchen. He was already shouting at me. He was like, "What are you cooking? What are you cooking? What did I tell you?" And then he grabbed the pot. Even though it was hot, it was like he did not even feel a thing. He just grabbed it. And then that was when he started to shout. He threw the pot outside. I was so scared. I had never been scared like that in my entire life. And he said to me, "I'm sorry, but I told you that I do not want anything with onions and garlic. You know that I don't like it. So why are you doing the things that I do not want? Why do you want to see me mad at you? I don't want to be mad at you." He said that these things, they make me sick. So I thought that maybe he had some kind of an allergy, and I started to notice a lot of things. Have you ever been in a house where you are not allowed to use your camera at night? He told me plainly to never use a camera at night. It would get crazy, like when there was no electricity, when I'll say, "Baby, I'm so scared. Why don't you just light the torch on your phone?" You'll be like, "No, let us wait for the electricity. You can press your phone. The light from the screen, it is good enough." Even when you are getting out of bed, you have to use the light from your screen. He won't allow you to switch on the torch. That is how scary it was. So he started to become someone that had a lot of little rules. There was one thing that used to bother me quite a lot. When we were making love, he had told me to never touch him on the shoulders. When he was on top of me, I was never supposed to put my hands, especially on his left shoulder. If I would do it by mistake, he would panic and his manhood will just relax, and we won't be able to continue making love. He would say that, "You see what you have done? I don't have any feelings anymore." And then the next morning, he would apologize. Since he was someone that played soccer a lot, he would be like, "I was injured when I was still in Ghana." And then he would tell me that, "I don't want you to go to church. I don't want you to fast in this house. Fasting brings bad luck because you are busy fighting with your own ancestors." It was some of these things, like you are thinking about them and you're like, "This guy, is he even serious? Has anyone ever had bad luck just by fasting?" That is something that bothered me. He would not allow me to play any gospel, especially if it was South African gospel music. You'll be like, "These songs, they are boring. You South Africans, you sing gospel music as if you are just playing this music in a bar, in a tavern. You are supposed to worship with all of your heart." But when you look like for those deep worship songs, you will start to criticize, saying that these people, they are just singing. They don't even follow the things that they are saying. So it is just worthless to listen to all of that music. He even claimed that it was bullshit music. I was pissed and I was like, "Man, what are you saying? Like, this is gospel music and you're saying that it is bullshit music. So for you, which one is good music?" And then he will say, "No, don't mind me. I was just talking. You know me. I love to joke." So you would be joking about these things that were so scary. He would even say that he once had a dream, and in that dream, he was speaking with a demon, and he asked for that demon to give him money. He said, "If I worship you, are you going to give me money?" And when I was starting to get scared, he laughed at me and he said, "Come on, I was just playing with you. Why would I want to worship a demon? Besides, demons, they don't even exist." So he was someone that was always confusing, talking about things that one could not even understand. Years went by, and the things that I used to overlook as minor rules. They started to pile up in my mind. By then, I had been living in his residential estate for about a year and a half. At first, I just said, my guy is weird, like socially he's awkward. But slowly I started to realize that this guy, he was someone that had taken all of my freedom. He was like low key abusing me emotionally. I was not allowed to visit my friends. I was not allowed to go to any church that was South African. He would not allow me. He told me plainly that I am going to be married to a Ghanaian man. I should learn Ghanaian culture. I said, does church have anything to do with culture? He just said, I told you what I told you. This was like abuse, and I was staying in that relationship. There was only one specific church he wanted me to attend online. This was a church from Ghana, not even a big church. Even as for the prophet, you would see that this prophet is prophesying, but it is like he does not want to prophesy. And sometimes I would laugh when he would force me to watch that sermon on Facebook. One thing that terrified me about him is that every time when I fell pregnant for him, this man will get angry. He would break plates. He would throw pots all over the place. He would be like, why are you pregnant? But then when I tell him that I'm going to do family planning, you'll be like, oh, so now you do not want my manhood to function because you want to block my kidneys and then you can cheat on me. So I was confused. It was in 2024, thereon, I went back to KZN to visit my mother. Then that was when something happened that I would never forget. One day, my mother, she bothered me a lot. She was like, I have forgotten my handbag from her village where she had gone to visit her relatives. She was saying that she forgot the charger handbag. She wanted me to go and fetch it. I did not want. She forced me, and one of my cousin sisters accompanied me. It was not very far. You just take 2 taxis. In about 45 minutes, you are in her village. So then when we were in that village, as we were walking, that was when we ran into an elderly woman. So this woman, she went to the Shembe church, and we just recognized her from what she was wearing. And then she stopped us. We greeted her politely, but my cousin sister, she was bored. She started to walk because she does not like that church. She has her own history that I can't discuss. So as she was speaking with me, she said, my child, you are living with a person who will leave you crying. This person that you are living with, I see that his blood is different from yours. Which tribe is he from? And then I said that he's from Ghana. And then that was when she said, there are things that you are seeing, but because of the love of money, you are choosing to ignore them. Then she said that she was going to give me some prayers. She told me that her house was not very far from where we were. We walked maybe for about 50 meters or so. We then arrived at her house, and I was waiting for him by the gate. She then went inside. She came back with a small plastic bag, and she said, these are prayers that I have already prayed for. When you arrive at your home, I want you to use these prayers like this, like this, like this, as she was telling me. Brother, I don't know why, I just took that small plastic bag. Even when my cousin sister asked me what was inside of that plastic bag, I could not even give her a proper answer. I just remained quiet because I knew that she was going to tell me bad stuff about people from the Shembe church. I then came back to Johannesburg. When I came back to Johannesburg, I went to do some shopping. When I returned back from shopping, I was shocked to find the police. They asked for my name and they arrested me. I thought that there was a mistake, but they handcuffed me, threw me at the back of the van. I had absolutely no idea what was happening. I was later informed that I was being accused of illegally using his bank card. I thought that the matter would be resolved quickly, but no. This man, he had a case against me. He said that I had done some fraud. Brother, as if it was a joke, I was arrested and 3 months in prison. When I came out of prison, brother, my best friend is now dating the same Ghanaian guy. She posts him on TikTok. It hurts me to always see them together, sometimes even going on vacations, but there is nothing that I can do. But I am grateful for the life that God gave to me. I am okay, as painful as it is. I lost the man that I loved, but he was very weird. I could not stay with him for a long time. I just wish my friend the best. I know one day she is going to walk out of that relationship. She will be hurt as well. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to us by one of our admin who helped us with this translation. Strange things indeed they do happen in this world. If you have any confession that you wish to share with us, do not hesitate to send your confession to our inbox at Brother Nashi on Facebook and on TikTok.